Hi everyone and welcome back. I'm here in the studio with Shawn from Varonis. Shawn, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You are most welcome. Now, I've got lots to talk to you about. Well, we've already talked
Sure.
to Varonis downstairs in the hub, so
Yes,
now we are going to talk some more. So tell me about your partnership and your product integration and how it's going to secure data across all these platforms. And but first of all, I'm getting ahead of myself.
That's okay.
What is your role? Who are you? What do you do at Varonis?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm Senior Product Marketing Manager at Varonis. My responsibilities are primarily over the Microsoft estate, so think Microsoft 365, Azure, et cetera, and how do we secure data in that Microsoft data estate, and then also to our AI solutions. So that's kind of my purview.
No pun intended,
I know, right? Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That we're gonna now we're going to talk about Purview a little bit, but well, we did talk about it before down at the hub, but for those of us, if anyone didn't tune into that segment or hasn't watched it yet on demand, tell me a little bit about Varonis and what do you do? Who are you? What are you about?
Yeah, so Varonis is a data security company at its core, and that has changed and morphed over the years and decades at this point. As the data estate is growing and also to how that data is being accessed is changing. Obviously, we're in a multi-AI era in this particular case, and how we protect data is changing, and so the platform that we have is continuously evolving to protect data wherever it lives and however it's being accessed, both by users as it's intended to be by AI, as well as even possibly bad actors and how they're accessing data when they shouldn't be. So that's kind of Varonis in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's super relevant at the moment because I know as a security person, more recently, I've spent a lot of time talking about data security.
Yes.
And on that then, being that it's definitely become more top of mind, what are the main challenges you're seeing with your customers?
Yeah, you kind of heard it also too if you keyed into the keynote, where Judson was talking about kind of these frontier enterprise organizations and having observability at every layer of the AI stack. To do that, in most organizations now, they have multiple AI applications. Maybe they have Microsoft 365 Copilot, they've created some agents with maybe Copilot Studio, and then they're also creating maybe some custom or pro code AI solutions using Azure AI Foundry. So you have multiple different instances of AI use on top of having also multiple data sources that's kind of expounding on that data risk. So you have multiple AI agents, multiple data sources that are tapped into by those, whether it be through connectors or what have you. So that's like one of the biggest challenges is being able to have observability across all the different AI instances, as well as the data that's being accessed by those AI agents.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. I think
right.
that's very true with data.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, so obviously you already touched on this, that at the keynote, Judson made announcements around data security and things about Purview.
Yeah.
But how is that going to help and enhance what you're doing, particularly around that data security posture management piece in Purview?
Yeah, so that integration, we're very excited about that integration because what it's going to do for users, specifically as they're using the Purview platform, is being able to have observability into data resources that are being accessed by various AI applications. So if it's an agent with Copilot Studio, or it's Microsoft 365 Copilot using a connector into, let's say, Salesforce, you're going to be able to connect with Varonis to see what sensitive data resides in that data resource, like Salesforce, who has access to it by way of permissions and why, and then ideally, long-term, be able to take action and be able to right-size permissions and implement least privilege on that data resource. Because as you probably know, Copilot is only going to access what you have access to in, let's say, Salesforce. And so we want to have observability into that Salesforce environment, and the integration is going to enable that. And in fact, I'd like to maybe show you what that's going to look like, if that's okay.
I think that would be an excellent idea.
Okay, beautiful. So if we could show that real quick. Essentially, in the Purview instance, in your Purview environment, in the objective pane, you're going to be able to see where there is unmonitored data resources being accessed by AI applications and through interactions. And then you're going to be able to click into those and remediate where that gap may be. And then you'll, through a very simple 3-step process, be able to turn on that integration with Varonis to start bringing in telemetry on that data resource. So like in this particular case, in Asset Explorer, you can see exactly, okay, here's our Salesforce instance. You can double click into that to see what sensitive information types are in that particular data resource like Salesforce, and then also to see what permissions that you have within that environment and how it's being accessed by AI. So once you connect all those things, again, take those 3 easy steps, you'll be able to start seeing some of the telemetry from the Varonis data security platform in Purview without ever having to leave.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Purview as well.
Yeah.
So, and now you said it was very easy to get going there.
Yes.
So there's like 3 easy steps. But
Yeah.
is there anything else after they've done that initial bringing in data?
Yeah.
What's the next step after that that you would recommend that folks did?
Yeah, I think it's, I hit on it earlier. As customers start to, at our booth today, you were by the booth.
Yes.
There's been several organizations that they're system admins or they're IT admins or they're CISOs, and they're coming by and they're saying, we're about to migrate this data resource into the cloud. And that may look different ways, or we're about to adopt this new ERP system. I think it's going to be a continuous measure where they're going to want to understand what's unmonitored, and that's going to be a continuous learning process, learning what's unmonitored, what's being used by AI applications, as other business units and maybe even departments start to integrate or turn on maybe a new connector with Copilot. So as they continue to migrate data into the cloud or turn on new integrations for Copilot, understanding where your gaps are, there's going to be a continual remediation. And as I understand it, we're going to be able to add more integrations by way of Varonis. So let's say if you have a Databricks environment and Varonis is monitoring that Databricks environment, you'll be able to integrate into Purview and bring in more data resources. So it's going to be kind of a land and expand thing as far as like next steps.
That's awesome. Now, we've already kind of touched on this, but I just wanted to dig in a little bit more. What would you say for the customers who are starting to adopt Varonis and do more data security? Is AI the main driver for that, the main catalyst, or are people finally thinking, you know what, I need to just tidy up my data?
Yeah.
What's the main driver that you're finding people are doing to up their data security game?
Yeah, that's a good question. In many cases, it is AI. I would say more so than anything, it is the data landscape for the average enterprise organization is continuing to grow, and they understand the value of data. The value of data can be coming from wanting to deploy AI, so we're using that data to make AI more successful, to be a frontier enterprise organizations, and that's the North Star. But even if that North Star is further off, like being a frontier enterprise organization is far off, they know that we have 5, 6, 7, 8 different cloud instances that are both maybe platforms, maybe it's cloud infrastructure, and they need to right-size permissions and deploy automatically least privilege on all that entire data estate, and doing that can be very complicated.
Yes.
Because as you know, permissions in Salesforce look very different for your admins that are monitoring and managing a SQL database environment, and how you right-size permissions for Microsoft 365 and SharePoint. That permission set is different in all those different places. And so right-sizing permissions in all those places, that's typically the driver, is they want to understand what sensitive data do I have in this place, this place, this place? And then how do I make sure that my permissions, that I've implemented Zero Trust, that I've implemented least privilege across each one of those, and done that in a way that doesn't overburden my teams. If that makes sense. So
it does, but it's very difficult, right? Because to do permissions right, least privilege across the board, difficult when it's not the same permission structure.
That's right.
So do you have any other Shawn, parting thoughts for us around or recommendations that our viewers and the folks here at Ignite can see more and get connected?
Yeah. So you can obviously find us on LinkedIn. You can go to Varonis.com if you'd like to learn more. Some other pieces as it relates to Ignite. We have 2 sessions tomorrow. One with our CEO, Yaki, is sitting down with Rudy from the Purview team. And then we also have a session on labeling and classifying data within the Microsoft estate. That's on Thursday, I believe. And then tomorrow, specifically, there's a session with Brian Vecchi that's about this whole multi-AI era and some of the things that we've been talking about.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Shawn.
Yes.
Thanks for the chat. And for more information about Varonis, you can check out the link below. And of course, go and look at the breakout sessions either in person or on demand.
Thanks.
See you later.